Hey, what's up? My name is Danny. My name is Shane, and off tonight is Cordero, who is dealing with some air conditioning issues. He'll be back with us next week. Hopefully,
we gave him the day
Fingers
off
crossed.
because we're nice, nice bosses.
Everyone's. I guess we shouldn't have led with that. We should have just teased people. Said he would be showing up later because I feel like we're
everyone's
gonna
like,
lose some viewers as soon as everyone pops in to see that Cordero's not joining us. They're gonna, maybe another time. Maybe I'm not gonna watch tonight's show.
Yeah. That maybe they're gonna take part in the boycott NFL and we'll hang out with us.
Boycott and DQ. We should take it. We should kneel for Cordero. I mean,
take a knee.
It's a weird thing
Or,
to say.
or as Daenerys says, bend the knee.
Yeah, bend the knee.
Well, we should have said this at the beginning of the show. This is My Dumb Questions on Air. And thank you guys for joining us and hanging out this evening where we talk about whatever we want because this is our show.
That's true. And the first question I have, Danny, is my screen sluggish?
You're a little pixelated like you're using all your bandwidth.
It's a strange thing. You want to give me a second? I'm going to plug it up directly
Sure.
to the thing.
Go nuts. Plug it in directly. I don't know what that means. That's a weird thing to say. Oh, well. Well, normally I'd be talking to Cordero, but there's no Cordero here, so I guess I'll talk to myself. Let's see. What are we going to cover today? Buying time here. I believe we said, let's look at the list here. We're going to, oh boy, look at this. That's awkward. He's doing some weird stuff. Everybody getting a real close view to Shane. Real close.
Good.
I guess. Oh, man. It'll probably catch up at some point. What do you mean by... oh, he can't hear me. Let's wait patiently.
Well, this is a bunch of horse shit.
What did you mean by plug it directly?
The Firewire? Not Firewire.
USB? What's it plugged into normally?
Oh, I'm just going through open Wi-Fi. I was talking about plugging in.
Gotcha. It might take a second for it to switch over too, so.
This episode is starting off fucking splendidly.
It's fine. People are only here for your audio anyway.
Yeah.
Or it'll
All
catch up at some point since it was.
I hope so.
working
I'm just
okay.
wondering why the fuck it is. Hold on a second. What do I go to check my speed?
Speedtest.net.
Here we go.
I hope everybody's enjoying this episode of Troubleshoot Your Computer Live with Shane.
My download speed is 104.
104?
107.
It's your upload that matters. Maybe it's me. You never know. Maybe I'm breaking everything.
And my my upload. Oh, wow. Nice. It's peaking at 2.
Oh, that might be the problem.
Well, this is going to be visually just fucking terrible for you guys for at least a little while. I have no idea why it's doing that, but
We will progress and be just fine. Just stay real still and only move your mouth. And
All
then
right.
the compression.
things my girlfriend has said.
Oh, boy. You mean Lil Shay?
Yeah.
Everybody's reaction to Lil Shay last week was pretty funny. I did go around work and showed that GIF you made. And a lot of people were like, wait, what? I said, no, It's just Shane's girlfriend. Calm down. It's like, it's 2017. Are you bothered by that?
I'm happy she joined us, and I heard from a little bird that Cordero's girlfriend wanted to join the show last week too.
Oh.
But otherwise just decided to sit it out, so it's kind of funny.
Did she at least have fun?
Yeah, she enjoyed it. I'm sure they're enjoying the movie tonight when getting out of the heat.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess I'll just tell everyone I'm reporting live from the moon, and I'm on the space station.
From up there, can you tell that the Earth is flat? Just out of curiosity.
From my point of view, it looks more oval
Okay.
maybe a flattish oval. It's kind of
Okay.
hard to tell. I guess I need to start a GoFundMe page to get the money to be able to check and see whether or not it actually is flat.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't
This is
think
where we're
we'd.
starting today.
Yeah, why not? You know, it
Sure.
was a good segue. You know, I didn't think that I'd be using this guy's name again, ever. And I guess I was wrong about that. But your homeboy, because I know you're big fans of Mr. B.O.B., apparently wants to collect some money because he doesn't have enough of his own to see if the Earth is flat, or prove to the Earth is flat. Not to see if it's flat or round or anything. He's confident that it is flat, and therefore he needs your money to prove it to you. Is that correct, Shane? Am
I
I?
guess that's correct. I mean, aside from hearing that he is trying to raise the money to do this, I don't know exactly how it is he is trying to prove or disprove it. Is he going to shoot himself into space?
What?
And I think, honestly, even at that point,
Uh-huh.
as invested as he is into the conspiracy, I think even if he went into space, he would somehow explain that away, saying that, well, it's the angle at which I was looking at it. You know, it's flat, but I was looking at it from, say, this side or something, not over. Some weird thing like that. So where he could say that, oh yeah, it's flat, but it's round this way. So when you're looking at it, it looks round, but it's round because it's a pancake shape. You know what I mean?
Seems like a whole lot of money for nothing.
Hey, man, and I think for for us at one point we were kind of thinking that maybe he was doing this to sell albums, but I'm pretty sure at this point this guy is all in, and he is an actual flat earther.
Huh. Steve said with drones. I don't think so, because what was the amount that he wanted to raise? Like,
Oh, I actually didn't see. We can look this up real quick. I'm sorry.
I thought it was pretty up there. I want to guess $600,000, and it was
That's
already
it?
at 200,000 or something like that.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, like we couldn't spend money on I don't know, something better. And if he's using $600,000
so-
in drones, then that seems like
No. Oh, there's a video on here too. You might want to go find that if you go to the GoFundMe page.
Oh,
Just
great.
put a B.O.B. GoFundMe. There's a video up here. This is what it's at now. So I don't know where you got your numbers from, but this is what I'm
Okay.
looking at.
I'm
It's
way
a
off.
trending campaign though. But in the past 7 days, he's reached $3,623 of his $1 million goal, raised by 145 people. And
Wow.
this is kind of a sad part, right? So a lot of these are just small donations. There's like $5 and
I'd like to thank everyone
and
who donated.
$10, $20.
That's like joke donations, I feel like, no? Let's see
No,
if this
I don't
is
feel
right.
like they're joke donations. I feel like those are people who are, I guess, not very wealthy people who they're giving what they can to because they're invested in this
I made also
conspiracy.
reference to the original amount from 200,000 to $1 million, because
Oh, see?
I feel like a lot of people have made a lot of valid suggestions.
It was
So
200,000 and he raised
I
it.
have come to the conclusion that instead of just sending,
I like how he's using the
Like
vintage
several
camera
satellites
footage
and
here.
Yeah. He's like, this
Or,
needs to be
uh,
genuine
filter.
conspiracy material. So use the shaky cam and grainy film.
but not limited to weather balloons, drones, blimps,
Oh.
even
He's sending
high
everything up.
altitude
The entire armada.
balloons and whatever else, or any type of suggestion that anybody has. So, yeah. So I'll be
Okay.
documenting this whole process, and I'll keep everybody updated on this road to $1 million and how the funds will be used to research and come to a conclusion.
But we
you all
don't
for
need it. We've done the research. We know what. Oh God, Steve,
Well,
your
he-
last message. Sorry, it was. It does that if there's like too many repeating characters because it thinks it's like spamming or something. So my bad. It wasn't me. It was the bot.
Yeah.
I like the name of this show. B.O.B. The Curve. Like, why do we have to give you the money? There's plenty of existing documentation, but of course,
Yeah, I know, right? But it's we've tried to explain away
Beely.
conspiracies before, and it's just you can't do it. And I mean, I guess since we're on conspiracies, I thought we'd come up with a segment, called conspiracy of the week or whatever.
Okay.
But I mean, since we're kind of trending in this way in the show, this camera is not getting any better either, is it? Fucking
It did for a bit, and then it got worse. But don't worry, man. Nobody.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Anyway, so are you familiar with the story of Kenneka Jenkins?
Can I cheat and look at the document?
Sure.
Is that recent or
Very
yes.
recent. That was
okay, yes.
it was about 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Then yes, I actually saw this before that. Did we talk about it on here?
I don't think we ever got to it.
Cause didn't they call her and then the last time someone heard from her was 3 or 4 in the morning and she was still alive, and the delay was in getting the police department to actually go look for her, and the idea is that maybe she was still alive, but because the police department's like, oh, she hasn't been missing long enough or whatever, they didn't do anything until the morning, the following morning. Is that in the right realm?
Yes, but I'm not exactly sure how many days it actually was.
Okay.
So I can't really answer that. But for anybody who's watching that doesn't know the story of, I think, is it Kenneka Jenkins? What happened was she this was a girl in Chicago that just got a new job, like a really good job. I'm not exactly sure in what field, but it was like a decent paying job. And it was one of her first jobs too. She was only 19 years old. So she went out and celebrated that night.
Fair enough.
And got a little tipsy, and her parents didn't hear from her for the rest of the night, so they didn't know what happened to her. And it was either a full day or a couple of days passed, and the parents called the police and said, hey, our daughter isn't back. This is unusual of her. And then they ended up finding her body inside of a freezer at a hotel, this is where she ended up at, and this is where she ended up dying. So since it's such an odd story, it's inevitable that people are going to start to draw their own conclusions, and it's understandable too, because I think if I had a friend that ended up dying in a freezer, actually I might be an exception to this, as I've been trapped in a freezer myself.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah. So, people are starting, because it's an odd story, as I said, people are starting to draw their own conclusions, and, some are saying it's, murder. Some are saying that, it couldn't happen like that. They released the footage of her walking around, and they're saying that that's not actually her. It doesn't look like her, things like this. So inevitably, conspiracies pop up, and the conspiracy of the week that I've heard involving Kenneka Jenkins is that, on September 14th, Selena Gomez, the singer, she had kidney surgery. She's had I forgot what the disease is called, but it's something that affects your kidneys, and she was actually on the donor list. So she had, while in Chicago, this a bout of it, and it put her in the hospital. She had to have essentially like a emergency kidney, an emergency kidney transplant, I guess. So one of her good friends,
lupus, by the way, is what
lupus.
she has.
That's it. I couldn't remember exactly what it was, so I didn't want to say it and sound like an idiot.
I knew it was autoimmune, but I didn't remember what it was.
Yeah. So she got a transplant from one of her best friends, and there's a popular photo that's around on Instagram right now, them laying in beds next to each
Side
other.
by side, yeah, I did see that.
So because this happened in Chicago, and because it happened just a few days after the Kenneka Jenkins situation, obviously people are putting two and two together. Correlation equals causation.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't call it putting 2 and 2 together. I would call it more putting two separate things, completely separate things, and trying to make them related.
Well, exactly. They're taking the one and they're saying, okay, Kenneka Jenkins died a weird way in a freezer.
Holy
Selena
moly.
Gomez is rich. Hence, Selena Gomez got Kenneka Jenkins' liver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and if you look at this video, like, she is clearly, having a good time, and obviously in an area where no one is expected to be in. And I believe that the law enforcement in this said, this is not uncommon. People have locked themselves in walk-in freezers, especially when they're intoxicated. But obviously, no parent wants to believe that that's the case.
Yeah, or anybody really. It is just such an odd situation.
Although I do understand the part where the parents were, saying that they tried to get law enforcement involved, and it just wasn't, I guess, long enough that she was missing. And now the fear is that, if they would have got out and started looking for her, they might have found her before, she made her way either into the freezer or shortly after getting in there. Because obviously you don't walk into the freezer and instantly, die. It does take some time. So maybe if they got involved earlier, that it could have made a difference. But I mean, to be devil's advocate, how often do people report people missing and then find them, shortly after?
Yeah. There's a lot of things in there that make it just sort of like, since it's such an unusual circumstance that it's easy to draw your own conclusions. But if you look at the video here, she's clearly a pretty drunk. And here's the thing, right? So I've worked, in security for a while, as a bouncer and things like that. So I've had to deal with a lot of drunk people, and when the time is right, they will find a place to nap wherever they can. I'm talking like middle of this, just like alleyways, sleeping, bathrooms all the time. We used to have to go wake people up inside bathrooms. Like, all right, man, you got to get out of here. It's,
this
and
is
then they're
bed.
completely out. Yeah. So it's not beyond me to believe that she, wandered into this freezer. Maybe she thought it was a bathroom or something like that, which when you're that drunk, it wouldn't surprise me if she went in there thinking that it was a bathroom. And then when she got in there, now I'll need you to kind of confirm or deny this, but because I don't drink, but I would assume that maybe when you drink, your body heats up a little bit. Is that something to be expected?
Yeah. I mean, at least you feel like it, but like for me, I'll start to sweat pretty good, which is your body's natural reaction to thinking it's a little hot. So, where are you going with that though?
That maybe she went in there and initially just didn't feel like she was cold. Yeah, because she was hot. Maybe it felt good. And then
she was also wearing full denim too. So
yeah, that's true. So that's another thing. So you got the full denim on, and you're already naturally hot from drinking a lot, from what we can see. And then you go into the freezer. Suddenly it doesn't feel that bad. You sit down or whatever, and if you fall asleep, I mean, you're out. You fall asleep, and then you're done.
Especially if you've been drinking, like it's a deep sleep.
And she, like I said, she was. I mean, from the pictures I can see, at the very least, she looked like she had been drinking quite a bit. Yeah. So
some people just look for these conspiracies. Like it's, I mean, it seems easy to prove. It seems overly complicated. I don't know.
Well, I mean, people have a really easy time saying this person's rich. And they're not wrong in this sense that rich people, for the most part in America or in a lot of places, their lives are valued more than poor people's lives. But to just draw these sort of conclusions, it's very childish. But it's also a sort of a sign of the times, because these sorts of videos and things like that, or these conspiracies, you take someone who's young and gullible at 18 years old or even into their early 20s, and then you just throw an easy way to get any of the information that you want to hear out there, and you're into it. I mean, for the most part, there was even times that we were, not we, but me too, where I was like, set that Tupac was alive, his death was faked, and he was alive, so I wasn't. You know what? Even with the Beatles, remember there was a lot of people that believed that the one guy from the Beatles never actually died, and he was still alive. But now we can take that and put that same sort of bullshit conspiracy theory stuff toward people that are just regular people. Mm-hmm. Because now their story is all over television in the same way that celebrities were back in the day.
Right. And I mean, we just want great stars to live on forever. I mean, it's happened for Elvis as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing things about David Bowie and Michael Jackson, great artists like that just lore surrounds them and you want them to still be around, so you kind of start constructing these stories, whether it's for entertainment, but the next person may not take it as entertainment, might take it as fact. So
yeah, exactly. So that's sort of where it's at with that. But the thing is it seems like someone initially posted this on Facebook. I read it and I was like, it's stupid. First off, but I just did some quick research just to see how long before was this video shot, because that's the other thing they claim was that the video that Selena Gomez shot was sort of her hinting at, oh, we're gonna trap a girl in a freezer and
in these weird circumstances.
Yeah.
We're gonna find a girl that got a brand new job, who's obviously going to party, and then we're going to have them stay at a hotel that has a walk-in freezer. I think people miss out the elaborate, how elaborate it would have to be. And obviously the more elaborate a conspiracy or a plan is or whatever, obviously the more likely it is to fail. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But in their minds, the more likely it is that it happened.
Okay.
Well, same with the people that believe that 9/11 was an inside job. It's almost like the more people that would have to be in on the conspiracy, to make it happen, makes those people believe that the more likely that it is to be true.
Right.
Same with Kennedy.
Right. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly it. Kennedy, there was a lot surrounding that, conspiracy-wise.
To think of how many people would have to be involved to keep this guy's mouth shut, and then this guy's mouth shut, and then this guy's mouth shut. Yeah. It just makes it impractical for that to be something that actually happened. And I've yet to see a list of things that were conspiracies to that extent that have ever become true. Now, I would like to be, proven wrong. Fucking prove me wrong. But
how often does that happen?
Yeah, but you'll have until the fucking world ends people that believe 9/11 was an inside job. Elvis didn't die until whenever. Tupac is looking at a gas station, and Kaneka Jenkins had her kidney stolen from Selena Gomez, who then put out a music video. And that's the thing. The music video was shot 4 months before this happened.
Yeah.
It was that's an easy thing. You could just go check. You could just say, hey, when was this music video shot? 4 months before it happened. So now I guess their story would change. It was now she's, it wasn't that she shot it to kind of rub it in people's noses. It was, she was prophesizing it or something like that.
Okay. It's sure. Can we just check Kaneka and see if she has a kidney? That seems like an easy way of doing that.
Well, of course. And here's the other thing, right? So even if the freezer was, cold enough, I don't think it's cold enough to preserve it. Yeah, I don't think it's cold enough to preserve it. What happened? Steve got shut out again?
It's the ... Too many ... dots. Just use commas. We understand. I'm sorry my bot's so angry.
We're just having a tough time tonight. What was I saying? God damn it. I lost my train of thought.
Conspiracies.
Yeah.
Checking her if she has a kidney.
Yeah, if she has a kidney. Not only that, I think if there's no blood flowing through the kidney, even if it's frozen like that, it can go bad soon, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think she would have been frozen all the way through if it was only one day. I mean, that's a big body.
Wicked Kender, what's going on, my man?
Sorry about the camera. I don't know what's going on with my connection.
He didn't pay for internet. He's stealing it from his neighbors. He just doesn't want to say it on air.
I got Cordero's connection.
You guys are missing out. Apparently, Cordero got a new microphone and was gonna avoid mic aids, but I guess you don't get to enjoy that today. He's out.
Said he got air conditioning aids.
Killed it. Well, I don't know. I don't think B.O.B. Needs any more attention. And conspiracies are conspiracies. You know, the more you give it attention, the more it'll spread, and we don't want to do that. Steve Nightbot is a bot. That's what it is. It just automates some stuff for us, like make sure people aren't spamming stuff.
I do have a question about GoFundMe though. If you don't reach your goal, that means you don't get the money, right?
Yeah, no. If you don't hit your goal, there's nothing to. Well, on GoFundMe,
yeah.
I don't know. I think you do get whatever's delivered. I'm not sure.
Because if that's the case, man, like they have to do something about that. Because you could have these idiots. I mean, granted, people are giving money to what they want to give money to.
I just don't understand why. If the original amount was 200,000, I don't understand why B.O.B. couldn't pay for it.
I know, right? Well, I don't think B.O.B.'s got that much more than $200,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
Are you looking up his net worth?
Let's see. Celebrity net worth B.O.B. and he is worth $8 million. What the fuck?
9 now if he meets his goal.
How is B.O.B. worth $8 million?
Because we're on freaking Twitch talking about him.
I guess so, but shit, $8 million.
I don't know.
Like I was like set to believe like you know what, man, maybe a few 100,000, which is still more than I would say he's worth as far as like musically. And this is someone who I think I used to like B.O.B.'s albums, but $8 million, holy shit.
So Wicked Kinder stays away from GoFundMe because it seems like virtual begging, and I think it originally had good intentions, but it's turned into like I stub my toe. I need money for a copay at the Quick Care, nonsense.
You know,
like that.
as true as that is, you don't have to give your money to them, and it's a lot easier not to give money to somebody on GoFundMe than it is to not give your monny to a guy on the street corner.
Yeah. Ways. You just keep scrolling.
Just don't. You don't have to deal with anybody. So I don't mind GoFundMe. You make the choice whether or not you want to ask people for it. Now you do kind of get into the realm of people who are, being kind of bloodsuckers. Let's say hypothetically that B.O.B. is doing this just to, raise $1 million for his own pocket. And he's doing it maliciously. You have to, in a way, kind of say that people are responsible for their own actions when giving them money. But at the same time, if it's something that's fraudulent, GoFundMe should have something against.
Yeah, they have some terms of services and what you can and can't do. Steve's got a good example. Yeah, you guys need to euthanize your cat, and you're broke. You have friends and family that knew you and the cat. That's a good example of it. I think there's bad examples when people would just make up these ridiculous scenarios.
There's
with hefty skepticism, which you should. Wicked Kinder approaches with hefty skepticism. Anytime anybody's asking for money, you should be like, So there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I agree too. And there are people that kind of do this. They do this scavenging sort of thing, where they're fooling people into believing that they're doing something bigger. So there is a
speaking of bigger.
There's a YouTube channel that I watch called Captain Disillusion. And what the channel is all about is debunking these viral videos on just proving that how you actually do them within Adobe After Effects.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually a really good YouTube channel. Kind of falls along the lines of like a Bill Nye the Science Guy sort of thing. But one of the things that he did in there, and you may remember this because it got shared a lot, was the guy who had the where the phone would be a hologram on your wrist.
Yes, that
right? And he's in the tub and he's
old
like doing
April
all this
Fool's
here.
joke.
Yeah. So, he completely debunked that, saying that can't be done. Like
Right.
skin tone would absorb the light. It wouldn't reflect the light, so it would bounce off. And he was saying that it would just be too hard to do all that. And it's just not technology that we have nowadays. And it's
Sure.
not something that someone would be able to raise on and all this. And he even put his own money up and said, if you could prove it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And what it looks like is that they have put some of that money toward trying to develop something, but it looked more like, what was that, the first type of virtual reality that came out like in the fucking 80s with Nintendo, where everything
Virtual
was red.
Boy.
Yeah. So it was like that sort of thing where everything would have been red, and the way that things got red was by the laser being blocked off by your finger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was, the guy put up the video with no intention of it actually becoming a thing, and he just pocketed all the money. And I guess through some research, he found that this guy had been throwing a bunch of like these After Effects shot videos, making it look like, hey, you're gonna have a phone that you can answer on your hand and shit like that.
Yeah.
Where he was straight up scamming people. That's something that GoFundMe needs to crack down on. If it's someone's hopping on there and they're showing this really elaborate video of how I'm going to build a spaceship and take everybody to Jupiter, that's when they should be like, nope, can't put it on there.
You probably
but in
should
the
go
case-
to a gas giant anyway.
Exactly. But in the case of B.O.B., right? So he's a conspiracy theorist who's trying to prove a conspiracy that's been thoroughly debunked.
Yeah.
But if GoFundMe goes on there and says this is obviously stupid, we know the Earth is round, and they take it down, that plays in his favor.
Yeah. Because now it's
So
the man trying to cover up
Yeah.
the truth.
Exactly. So it's almost like a lose-lose for GoFundMe, because either on one end they're going to look like they're allowing people to scam, and on the other end they're going to look like the man trying to keep the truth down.
Yeah.
So it's annoying.
Well, that's enough of B.O.B. if you ask me.
Yeah, that's cool. Like in total, like he's lost me as a fan. Yeah.
Shut it
And
down.
then that's it. You know what? Steve makes a great point there. When I'm looking at the comments. Is what, B.O.B. Fuck off, because
He's watching.
you're
this right now.
raising. I hope so. You're raising $1 million to prove that the Earth is flat. Meanwhile, you have people in Puerto Rico who are struggling to get by.
Mhm.
What are you doing with your life? You're a fucking loser.
Yeah.
Your priorities are all out of whack unless you're going to try to tell us that global warming isn't real and fucking Hurricane Maria was a hoax. You know what I mean? So he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, pretty much. So speaking of Puerto Rico, though, I mean that's a good segue right there.
He's good at this.
Yeah. We feed off each other. We have the
Yes.
skill. So, to be clear, they were both obviously they were hit by Maria, but they also experienced Irma.
That's true. Now, Irma caused 1 million power outages and a total of, I want to say, $1 billion in damage. That may be a bit high, but significant damage, but not as bad as Maria. The problem is that it happened back to back.
In a week,
And
right?
yeah, very close. And so people in Puerto Rico right now are in very bad shape. There weren't a lot of deaths from the storm itself, like passing over
Directly, right?
directly. So there weren't a lot of people that died from that. Only 13. But it's the problems that they're having afterward with getting goods to them. getting clean water, just food and stuff, and they're not getting any help from the American government at this point.
Their own government, to be clear. And I want to go back to the 13 dead. Like, it's not a lot. And I think that we need to remember the fact that it's an island. You can't truly evacuate an island, especially when the week prior you were just busy dealing with another hurricane. So maybe some people got out, assuming that the airlines could keep up with that demand when Irma came by. But surely after Irma, if you were like, yeah, I learned my lesson, I'm out of here, they couldn't leave. You're on an island. And so for 13 people to have passed away, I mean, obviously one is too many, but 13 is a really good number for an island you were kind of stuck.
Yeah. I guess that's a testament to, understanding the power of hurricanes and being able to get people ready for them in advance, because we have a pretty good knowledge of where they're going along the way. And it's very true that Puerto Rico's infrastructure was bad. I think
before
but I think the thing that people need to keep in mind is that Puerto Rico isn't now it's sort of set back pretty far, but it's not an island that was, in disarray in a lot of ways that we think of some Caribbean nations, say, for instance, like Haiti. Puerto Rico wasn't in that sort of shape. It wasn't in that bad of a ruins. In many ways, it was in as good a shape as some U.S. states, as Alabama or Mississippi, who all are poorer, when compared to each other, if you go state to state, than to Puerto Rico. I think maybe that is, in a way, sort of our Western ignorance in some sense. Just like one of the stats that we got over the week was that 54% of Americans didn't know that Puerto Rico was part of the U.S. Yeah. They had no idea.
They didn't know that Puerto Ricans citizens were United States of America citizens. That they were treating it as if the government seems like was kind of treating it as a another nation that we're kind of we'll help you out.
Yeah, he was really treating it like that, not our place, not our problem. And it's simply not true. Puerto Rico is a part of the United States. The only thing that separates it from being an actual state is just the fact that they don't have representation in Congress.
Which, there's other places that don't have representation in Congress too. So it's not that different.
Yeah.
Was it Commonwealths in general?
Well, not Commonwealths in general. So there is a difference between if you're a state, you're always a state. So you can be a state and a Commonwealth. And in the case of Kentucky and Virginia, they are both states and Commonwealths. But if you're a Commonwealth, that doesn't necessarily make you a state. Right. So in the case of Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Guam, and Micronesia, I believe. Those are U.S. Commonwealths, but not U.S. states. So they have all the rights, the same rights as states. They are allowed to, we and them are allowed to travel to each other's lands without, a passport. You can just go. You can go to the Virgin Islands as easily as you can go to California, or as easily as you can go to Wyoming, anything like
crossing a state, any other state.
Exactly.
I was more referencing D.C. They don't have representation in Congress.
Yeah, D.C. doesn't have representation too, and that was actually something else that I wanted to get in. D.C. is pushing for statehood too, because since they don't have representation, there are things that they're not getting because of that. But John Oliver pointed this out once before, because he always points out everything that we end up talking about beforehand. That there is.
It's because he airs on Sundays and we air the following Thursday.
It's true. But there are some people that are in, Congress or the Senate or whatever the case may be, that are deliberately keeping places like Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Guam, and Washington, D.C. from getting full statehood, because that would pretty much tip the scale toward, Democrats being elected. Because if you give, the Virgin Islands, the same amount of electoral votes as they would get for, Wyoming, which the minimum is 3 electoral votes. Then you've neutralized the smaller states.
Yeah.
Same thing for Guam would get 3, and then I believe Puerto Rico has a population of around 3 million. Because I think that San Juan, the metro area, has around 1.8 million. That's off the top of my head, but I think in total the island has about 3 million, give or take. So they would probably pick up somewhere around 6 electoral votes. Yeah. So you've neutralized some of the smaller states, and so you take Guam, the Virgin Islands, and then I think, like I said, Micronesia is the other one. Washington, D.C., which is another one. They don't have electoral votes. You throw them in there, that's 9 plus 6 from Puerto Rico. That's 12 electoral votes of 12. Some
9 plus 6 is not 12.
I know. But if you were to look at that in the sense of how our electoral system works, that does tip the scales, because those aren't places that are going to vote Republican. They're just not.
Not likely.
It's very unlikely. So that's sort of the situation that you have there, and that's one of the reasons that they're kept at this an arm's length, where they're essentially a foreign nation that we can travel to without a passport, but we also don't help them out in the same way.
And this is a screen I paused because it shows Trump's tweets, which I think is interesting, because this is not what I expect from a leader. I mean, I guess that notion has changed recently, but the fact that he tweets about them like they aren't the United States. So you have in the very first tweet where he's like, Texas and Florida are doing great, but Puerto Rico, which was already suffering from broken infrastructure and massive debt, is in deep trouble. Its old electrical grid, which was in terrible shape, was devastated. Much of the islands was destroyed with billions of dollars owed to Wall Street and the banks, which sadly must be dealt with. Food, water, medical are top priorities, and doing well. Which, no, they're not doing well and getting stuff there. It took 3 days before they received any shipments?
Yeah, it was something like that. Mm-hmm.
So issue 1, 2 is, you're comparing Texas and Florida, and you're saying, oh, the reason Puerto Rico, is not doing well is because of their debt and this and that. It's like, first of all, we have states that are in more debt than others. So I don't think you should be shoving that out there, because the same way that, as a union, we are supposed to balance each other out, it feels like he's outcasting them, even though they're just as much as American. And also notice that his Twitter picture has a lot of makeup and a lot of what's that brush called in Photoshop that smooths the skin out? I just
it's like a blur tool. I know you're talking, or a patch tool.
Yeah.
So Wicked Kindred, yes. It from what I just read, the Washington D.C. was given land ceded by Virginia and Maryland. So yeah, I my girlfriend's cousin was in town today, and he's from Maryland and works at the Pentagon. So we had lunch today. So we were talking about how D.C. is actually within an enclave of Maryland. So it's sort of like surrounded by Maryland with Virginia on the other side. It's a weird thing. It doesn't need to be like that. But it's a way for them to take away the power of votes from 600,000 people that live in the District of Columbia.
Yeah. So I don't have my Puerto Rico notes down, but you do. So I figured while this plays, you can bring up some of the damage we're looking at here. Holy moly! Yeah.
So the entire island, 97% of it is without power. And
that's the entire island. That's like
essentially.
Yeah, what has power is like airports and some hospitals.
Yeah, exactly. They said their most important buildings are the ones that have power. So 97% of the entire island is without power. There, like we said, only 13 deaths. Obviously, those deaths matter to the people that are there. But given the circumstance of how big the
that
hurricane
hurts.
was,
Look at all those
Yeah.
solar panels wrecked. Huh. I didn't know they had such a large solar farm. Looks like a tornado just took out that corner over there because these are the ones on the bottom left or the top left now.
Yep. That's
seem
actually how they
okay.
described it. They described it as a tornado that was 70 miles wide, going
Jesus.
over the entire island. So they definitely got pretty roughed up. There are still people that are having difficulty getting a hold of their family on the island.
I was going to ask
cell
you because
service is
you said you
non-existent.
had some friends and family that you had not touched base with the last time we were streaming. So
Yeah. So in the Virgin Islands, my buddy out there finally, he posted on Facebook that he's okay and his family's all right, because the Virgin Islands, St. Croix specifically, took a pretty big hit too. And as far as friends who have family back on the island in Puerto Rico, they are finally now getting a hold of them. So they're finding out that they're okay as far as well-being, but the clean water is a big problem. There's no clean water, and again, the initial response by the administration has been lackluster, to say the least. And it's because people don't give the same sort of respect to Puerto Rico as being a part of the United States as they do to other states. When 54% of United States citizens don't know that Puerto Rico is a part of the U.S., that's a problem, because then they seem to see all the problems that Puerto Rico has as someone else's problem, not ours. I saw some tweets, and I hate giving power to people's tweets online.
sure.
But a few of the things that I would see people writing are things like, it's time to cut them loose. They're draining our country.
That's not what you
things
do.
like that. That's not what you do. And not only that, well, if you're going to say that same thing about Puerto Rico, then you know what? You need to cut Alaska off. You need to cut Mississippi off. You need to cut Louisiana off, and all these other places too. Get rid of them. Get rid of large swaths of Texas and New York and California. You know what I mean? Just
Because they're not benefiting us at the moment.
Exactly. So if that's the case, and that's the way you want to look at it, then that's the same thing. And the funny thing is that these people that are writing this are probably from these really kind of rural, depleted parts of the South, where they just don't know any better either. They don't realize that a lot of the people in Puerto Rico are living better than them.
Yeah.
Or probably doing just as good as they are financially.
Jeez.
So it's disappointing, especially for like you and I, who grew up in Florida, and I mean, you still live in a probably a majority Puerto Rican community, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
What's it been out there? Have there been any sort of drives to help get goods and things like that for people on the island?
Not that's gotten around to me, unfortunately. I would imagine that there is, especially if you're from there. But similarly, when Venezuela was having the issues that they're having now, my family gathered stuff and sent stuff, but we only heard of it obviously because we know people from there. I don't know a lot of Puerto Ricans personally, or have any kind of family there myself, but I imagine that if you're from there, you have family members that they're all gathering up. Surely they have to be.
I was just curious because I know sometimes like communities will kind of band together and they'll have like at the local grocery store or something like that they'll have people sort of have bins for donating food and things like that.
Yeah, I'll have to. I did see one, but I think it was a General Maria and Harvey fund.
Okay.
But I think it's also probably pretty weird for the local communities to put stuff out like that when we're still dealing with the aftermath, math of Irma as well. So I think they feel like it might be difficult as a company to do that. It's like, hey, I know you guys are in a tough spot, but let's go ahead and help other people too.
Yeah.
Which is what you should do, but still.
Yeah, I know that Tampa they put together like quite a bit of stuff and sent it down to Puerto Rico recently, and like I said, I was just curious given the circumstances of your neighborhood as far as the demographics. So
Right.
Yep.
We actually had a follow and I missed it, so it was Spock _. I don't know why the alerts aren't coming up, but I saw the little number go up, so I was like, huh, interesting. Shoot, there might have been another one in here. Hasn't refreshed. Let me see. Real quick, because I don't want to miss. I just mixed like I think Dawson's Creek and
I don't want to wait.
yeah, with Armageddon somehow. It's my remix. Jeez. So I might have missed it. My bad. I gotta get back. I'm freaking all over the place. So Jones Act is that what is preventing most of the shipments over there? Is that what's going on?
Yes. So the Jones Act, for anybody that doesn't know, this is an old time law that was put into place in the early 1900s, I believe around 1920, that made it to where for goods being shipped via barges to go to any port in the United States, they had to be from an American port. It's kind of confusing. But it was a way for our companies to be rewarded over top of international companies.
Oh, boy.
So in the case of Puerto Rico specifically, for them to get any goods that are coming from, say it's a shipment from the Panama Canal, a shipment of oranges in this fictitious scenario, the barge coming from Panama has to go around the Florida Peninsula up to Jacksonville, to the port there, where it needs to be unloaded and reloaded onto an American barge. Then from there, it goes down to Puerto Rico, right? This makes the cost of goods into Puerto Rico about 15 to 20% higher, and this is before the hurricane, right?
Does Amazon Prime work in Puerto Rico?
I don't know.
Genuine question, because I'd be ordering some shit from that.
You know what? I would like to see Amazon, and I would expect them to do this in the future, have smaller warehouses to where that would be the case. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
'Cause
More distribution
right now,
points.
Exactly. So right now they have the really big distribution points. And this is sort of a side note, but there's a part of me that believes that maybe this is why a city in Florida is going to be chosen for the new headquarters.
Tampa, we get it. We get it.
No,
It's
it could be
Tampa.
Orlando too, but Tampa has a port.
Yeah,
Tampa
true.
has a port. But the idea would be that it would give them an easier access point from the United States down to the Caribbean islands.
If Amazon isn't anything, they're one of the best logistics company out there. So if they can figure it out, it'll be done right.
Yeah. So that's
Amazon drone boats. Send them,
man.
send them directly to Puerto Rico.
Partially computer goods, but also cocaine.
Amazon Prime Rescue. Now free with your Prime subscription. We'll get you out.
Yeah, so there, there's a 15 to 20% surcharge on goods going down to Puerto Rico, and this
and it's
also
not like the
prevents-
dollar's worth more there, so it's legit more money for the same thing.
Exactly, and this is preventing ships with goods from, say, again, let's stick with Panama. This is preventing ships from there from heading directly to Puerto Rico with goods. So, for instance, if the Panamanian military wanted to just send a ship directly to Puerto Rico to help, they're not allowed. Not with the joint.
Even if it's just for relief efforts, they're not making any money. They're just here to you have it. It's free. No one's going to make money off of it. So why should the Jones Act apply?
That's the thing. Why should it? the president has seemed to let the Jones Act go on, and even said at one point, he waived it. He did end up waiving it in the past. I believe yesterday he waived it finally after a week. And he said, and he basically put it out there like, I didn't have to, but I did. Right?
Thank you, Thank you, King Trump.
What he said is there were a lot of shippers that didn't want me to do this, like American companies or whatever, that didn't want him to allow this to happen, but I did it anyway.
Yeah,
well, this
call
is
him
what
out.
happens.
I dare you.
Yeah, this is what you do if that's the case. You say, you know what, fuck you. Those are Americans down there that need our help. So eat a dick. That's if he's such a tough guy, right? But no, he's a piece of shit, and he doesn't think that Puerto Ricans are American. But this is the other thing. So the Jones Act was waived during Hurricane Harvey and during Hurricane Irma. So those same ships could have went directly to ports in Texas and Florida with no problem at all, but he wouldn't waive that for Puerto Rico, or he wouldn't waive it for Puerto Rico at first. So he's just continuing to show how much of a rat bastard he actually is.
And there are 3 U.S. territories that are exempt from the Jones Act as well. One being the U.S. Virgin Islands, which was, right in the same area. I don't know why, and I try to get the names of the other ones. I assume it's probably Guam and Micronesia, but I don't know for sure. But the fact is that those places are exempt from the get-go before this. And the fact that we had to wait a week just to get an exemption on a trivial law, that shouldn't apply in a state of an emergency where no one's going to make any money off of it. We're just trying to get people out and get people the help they need. So
exactly. Quick shout out to our friend of the show, Jesus, who is watching us from Fort Worth. I got to hang out with him last week. A good friend of mine. It was a good time. Sorry, we're talking about Puerto Rico, and it looks like I'm getting camera feed from Puerto Rico, but it's for whatever reason I just have a bad connection tonight.
What it is that your internet has this thing applied to it called the Jones Act. So all your internet has to go to Florida first before going out to the internet.
And it has to be rerouted back to Dallas so I can have decent
through American lines.
Yeah. Yeah, so very frustrating. But no, it's very, very annoying. Not annoying. Annoying is such an understatement. Again, these are American citizens in Puerto Rico that aren't getting the help that they need, essentially because, he doesn't, or the people around him don't perceive them as being American. Not in the same way that you and I are American. So it's really sad, and especially since, again, you and I come from an area that is, has a very large Puerto Rican community. Not just locality, but like Central Florida in general. Aside from like New York, it has more Puerto Ricans there than anywhere else in the U.S.
But like even that doesn't make a difference, because when Houston got hit, it was like, no problem. I know they need help. I don't need these $20. Send those over there. And I didn't even think about like, oh, it's Texas, the state of Texas, or Houston needs. Like, and you
really could. Yeah, exactly. You could have really looked at it if you were a dick. You could have said, it's Texas. I don't have. I should worry about the problems I have in Florida. You know what I mean?
Central Florida.
Yeah. Oh, that's not my problem. They're not. Yeah. They're not Floridians. You know what I mean?
They did this to themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the same thought process as how the people in Puerto Rico are being treated. Let's see if we have. Do we have anything? Well, before the end of the show, we'll post up something on here, if you want to give to the relief fund in Puerto Rico. So,
Wicked Kinder had a couple good comments of free trade and capitalism, find a way to get goods to people that want them. I would say, yeah, but things like the Jones Act, is exactly there to prevent free trade. They don't want you to, cut the middleman. So,
yeah,
it's a damn shame. But
the one of the big problems was that at one point Puerto Rico's economy was around 35 to 40% based on agriculture, And it was after that they became a commonwealth with the United States that went away. Now only 1% of their economy is based on agriculture, and they get the rest of their goods via shipments and things like that. Now that wasn't something that they did deliberately. It wasn't said, hey, no more agriculture. They became a part of the U.S. and it became easier that way. So they kind of got boned when it comes to this.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I don't take that as the way Wicked Kinder was saying it. Like, well, if they want it, I don't think that's how he meant it.
No, he was saying the government gets in the way, that people will help people and it'll get there.
Exactly.
If we could just get the government out of the way. U.S. Virgin has had an emergency fund. It got lumped into general budget, spent by and large, which is true. But the bigger point of that story is that the Virgin Islands have never had to deal with the Jones Act. They've been exempt from it, so they're already have the upper hand in that scenario. So, we'll get some info for helping our fellow American Puerto Ricans. We've lost them. It's just me. Talk to myself for a bit. It's okay. We didn't want to talk to Shane anyway. His internet finally exploded, probably. Oh well. Let's move on to the next thing. See if we can get him back here. Shane says, hang in there. Like, I can't handle it. Funny guy. So let's move on without him. What do I want to talk about? Let's see here. I think I want to talk about... Did anybody see the title for this episode? One of the first hashtags was his upload died. Yeah, it's been pretty bad, man. Like I said, it's been riding through Puerto Rico just to get to Florida, so it happens. He's figuring it out. He could call in if he wanted to. I can get him in that way too. So the hashtag for this episode that I was using was, besides a few other ones, was put out your Viagra, which I thought was funny, and I think that this person would want to celebrate like that too. So, unfortunately, if you haven't heard already, which I'm sure you have because you use the internet, but Hugh Hefner of Playboy fame has died. He was, what was he? I think he was up there. I don't want to misquote how old he was. Let's see here. I think I want to say 91. 1926. What's that? Getting that calculator out. So, minus 90. 90. It says here, 90. Hugh Hefner has died, man. That's 91? Oh, maybe I did the math wrong. But, I mean, I had heard his name in a while, because I thought the internet had made Playboy irrelevant, but I guess not. It's still where you find the artsy stuff of pornography. Although, didn't they recently change where they're not focused on that anymore? They're actually focused on editorials. Just goes to show you how unfortunately irrelevant it's become now because of the internet. But I did have to look it up because I assumed this dude had a lot of kids, and I'm only seeing a few in here. Let's see here. Yeah, he had, I think they stopped nudity. Yeah, isn't that weird? It's insane, but it makes sense because, yeah, the internet. It really, unfortunately, made him irrelevant. I think they will still have some nudity, but not like majority. I was pretty sure that was the case. It was going to be mostly editorial. But looking it up, the dude had 4 kids, which you would think he had more. Cooper Hefner, Crystal Harris, I guess you didn't keep the last name, Marston Hefner, and Christy Hefner. So 2 boys, 2 girls. They all look a little bit older. probably share this here. Give you a peek. They're up there at the top. Anyways, irrelevant. Stop nudity though. That's insane. So, but yeah, the dude had started Playboy in 1953, which, if you think about what was going on in 1953, it's weird he was held up as an everything man would want to be. The society changed. Yeah, he didn't change. The world around him changed, which I would still argue that a lot of people wouldn't mind being him, but it's just not. It doesn't, I guess, hold the image anymore. Granted, I don't remember him at a young age. He's always been this old guy, but I bet you he was like the James Bond of younger guys. But yeah, he created Playboy in 1953. That's crazy. Barely over prohibition, and was able to get nudity out, but alcohol couldn't be drank. What are the odds of that? And the magazine is published in 20 countries, not just in the United States, obviously, but spread it out, which makes sense. People enjoy their pornography. That's a weird word. Pornography. 20 countries. He probably made a pretty penny. And it was the first adult magazine produced in Braille, which that could be interesting. Left off from that dad perspective. Yeah, that's exactly it, Wicked Gender. You seeing it from a dad perspective, you're like, man, I don't want to exploit any woman like that. Is one thing, but then I have the other side of, like, you know, we should give them the independence to do what they choose with their body. Hopefully we show them that making it rare and not seen by everybody is a better option, but that is not always going to be the case. But yeah, I think at a younger age, everybody was like, yeah, that's the thing to do. But I think once you have kids, especially a daughter, you're like, not for me. But he did enjoy a lot of girlfriends. So he stayed the lifestyle, that's for sure. Even though society changed, it did not change him. But I did find that awesome that it was the first magazine produced in Braille. Talk about finding your niche. And support for conservation. Look at that. Support for conservation's got him a rabbit named in his honor. The civil. I'm gonna have to show this to you guys because there's no way I'm saying that. Civilagus palustris hefneri. Let's look it up. This guy right here. Oh, that's funny. Someone, of course. I'm gonna do that. Oh, look at that one. That's adorable. That is a Hefner. That is a Hefner. I think the other thing has changed too, like we were saying, society has changed. It used to be an event to get invited to the Playboy Mansion. Oh, look who decided to join us again. Maybe. Let's see if he gets in here.
Hey, I can hear you. I'm trying to get my camera going.
What happened?
It's same old shit. It's still connecting.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, well, at least you can hear me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just put up a picture of me. I think it'd be as good at this point. Like calling in live from Dallas.
So I don't know if you caught it, but I was talking about how your boy has passed away. You know what I'm talking about?
Hugh Hefner?
Yeah.
Hugh Hefner.
Yeah. It took you a minute there.
No, I said it.
Oh, okay.
Same old.
I see you now. I see you.
Today is just not the fucking day.
It's fine. It happens. Yeah, we were talking about Hugh passing away, and Wicked Kender pointing out that he was the everything. He was held up as what every man wanted to be back in the day, and unfortunately, society has changed, and having kids, in his words, were what changed that probably for him. He said, "My first pic of a naked girl was from Playboy, smuggled from a buddy's dad's stash." Isn't that everybody's that was born like 80s to mid 90s?
I guess so. Is that what you're like? I'm trying to think. I know my dad had a stash of magazines, and I remember that one of them had who's the singer? Oh, she was a Miss America. She was a Miss America contestant, and also a singer. Vanessa Williams was in one. Remember Vanessa Williams?
A tennis player?
No, it's Venus and Serena Williams. Yeah, so Vanessa Williams was in there, and she had like a lesbian scene in one of them. They weren't anywhere near as like what you would expect.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Is like Playboy became irrelevant, once the internet came out.
And they actually started being known for their articles, which is funny enough.
Well, they stopped the nudity in there.
Yeah,
there's no nudity in there. I think there still might be like some, like a little bit like. If Trump wanted to be naked, they'll probably put him on there. But yeah, they do articles now, and apparently they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Kids nowadays see weirder stuff when they're 8. Yeah. I think 8 for us was scrambled, stolen cable channels. Like that's how the cable company would prevent you from trying to see it. It would just be like.
Yeah, it kind of looks like my camera. Right now?
Yeah. No, it looked better. It looked better.
Yeah. No, so yeah, Hugh Hefner died, and Hugh Hefner died. I don't think anybody was really surprised at this. He was 91 years old. Lived a good life. He lived the life that a lot of men say they want to live. So
I don't know, man. He had too many girlfriends, if you ask me.
Well,
that's not a life I want.
Here's the other thing. I think people need to know that he probably wasn't banging all these girls. They were just there. And, at some point he probably was just like, nah, I'm good. I don't think he was really messing with any of them the way that we like to believe.
And since, we like to always bring in Marvel, that it was Stan Lee playing the Hugh Hefner in Iron Man. Yeah.
I saw that recently. Actually, I watched an entire YouTube video. They had every time that Stan Lee made an appearance in a Marvel movie, not only movie, but like television shows and cartoons. He's just in everything. Which, speaking of old people that don't have much time left, Stan Lee's in Tampa for the Comic-Con, so you want to see him. You want to get out there because I think he has maybe one more Avengers movie left in him, and he's donezo.
Done with cameo, yeah. He's got to be up there too.
Yeah, his wife just died, and so yeah, so
had to play with the fine tuning on the VCR on the scrambled channels. It's like you have to record it and then come back.
So yeah, I don't think Stan Lee has much time left on his clock. So need to get everything out of him that you can. And the funny thing about Stan Lee is, and we're getting a little sidetracked from Hugh Hefner, but the funny thing about him is that he's just like open to talk to anyone, like whoever the fuck. Yeah, he's got fucking podcast.
Like crazy old man.
Yeah, essentially, he basically sounds like a crazy old man. But he's got podcast interviews with, like people that are just like getting started with their comic book podcast, and he's like, "Yeah, fuck it, I'll do one." He says sort of the same stuff over and over again. You can hear like maybe a little bit of like irritation in his voice. Like I've answered these a million fucking times.
Yeah,
he still does them.
Well, you live forever. Of course, you're gonna answer that question a million times.
So it's kind of cool. Oh, shit.
I bet you the like pre-film. I'm sorry, guys. We're boring Shane right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My bad. I wonder if they'll like pre-film his cameos, because his cameos are always, I mean, they used to be subtle. Now they're not even fucking trying, which is kind of obnoxious.
Yeah, I think they should. I don't know. They should do something that makes sure that he's in everything at that point, or you have to somehow give him a send off in one of the big movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like my favorite cameos of his is it was not even really a cameo. It was the commercial they did for the Defenders, where it looks like did you see that one?
I know he did a commercial for the Defenders where he was like narrating it.
Yeah, and he's like driving through each of the boroughs or whatever, and seeing the individuals, like he was in the background the whole time. Like, I like that. That was a little more.
Well, here's a little something else I guess you didn't notice, but in the Defenders, inside the police office, he is the main guy. Like, if you look at the picture of the sheriff or whatever in the background, it's him.
Oh, okay. That's
cool. So that's the other way that he kind of fit in there. So it's cool that, like, no matter what, they find a way to work him in,
right?
Even into stuff like the Defenders. So,
I mean, do you think one thing I'm always like afraid? This is too much Stan Lee, but we'll come back to Hugh because we don't have a lot on here. But one, I'm always afraid like someone's gonna like figure out that Stan Lee is like a huge racist or something like that. It's gonna like ruin my, like, he's just a nice guy that makes cool movies or whatever. And then,
that same sort of thing kind of happened with Dr. Seuss, but I'll let you finish your thought real quick.
Oh, wow. And I think that was it. It was just like, I'm afraid that he's gonna come out as racist. And or do you think he's like given too much credit? Because
he's not the only. Yeah, you know what? There was a part of me that kind of thinks that too. Not that he's given too much credit, is that I don't think he's even taking all the credit.
But it's just like when they come out of a movie or a TV show, they put him in there, and all the guys are mansplaining to their women. It's like, yeah, that's the guy that created all these characters. I'm like, no, he didn't make all these characters.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. But I guess maybe he just enjoys the limelight more than all of them. He's sort of the spokesman for Marvel in that case. Mm-hmm. I'm sure some of these other writers, if they wanted to be in it and they just wanted to kind of be in on it, they could too. But right. I don't know if I could even name another person that is involved with Marvel. There's like a new artist like Carlos something that's I'm vaguely familiar with. And I want to say
clearly because you don't know his last name.
I know, right? And was it Jack Kirby? Was he the other one that was an artist for DC or Marvel? And
yeah, looks like he's a little bit older, but
he's dead. He died like a while ago. And this is actually funny because there are a bunch of theories about what character Stan Lee is in all of these Marvel movies. Because
like he put himself in.
Well, no. There are some people that have a theory that he's a character in the Marvel universe.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's, I guess, like this alien creature called the Watcher that kind of just like watches everything and interacts every once in a while. Mm-hmm. And then there was another theory that he was actually a character from the DC universe, and they said, well, he can't be a character from the DC universe because he only shows up in Marvel. And then they showed these like a cartoon from the DC world where Stan Lee had a cameo inside of a DC cartoon. So it's funny. And the thing is, those companies don't hate each other the way that we would assume, the way that people hate each other.
Yeah. I think they probably had an issue back in the day, but now it's like comics are starving. They'll work with anything to have something interesting that people want to pick up. Another comic and read. I
mean, they've crossed over before. Shit.
God, I'm really
usually
sorry,
we have
guys.
3 people on here, and I can hide a yawn.
Shane is sleepy and tired.
But they've crossed over before, so it's not like like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. They'll never cross over. That's not going to happen. But DC has crossed over with Marvel before, so it's
shit! Cordero's in the chat.
Oh, shit.
He said, "Yes, it was Kirby. He created most of the popular characters. They used to do crossovers all the time."
Does your girlfriend know or your wife, girlfriend? Does your wife know you're just like kind of chilling on the chat while you're watching the new Pennywise movie?
Yeah, apparently it's not that good. He's like,
If they get into the show, hang on a second, let me get in here.
Cordero, man, we're struggling. We're missing you here. At
Yeah,
some
man,
point,
it is
Shane's
not-
internet died. I was doing the show by myself.
Yeah, suddenly they switched me over to Spectrum, and I'm fucked.
Spectrum called me, tried to sell me some stuff too. Look at that. Wonder Woman carried Thor's hammer. Wink, wink.
Since we got Cordero in on the chat, I wanna ask a question. I want to see. I would assume that he knows it. I don't know, Danny, if you do. But this is the question. You know, we have these separate universes essentially for the Marvel characters owned by Sony and the Marvel characters owned by ABC and Disney, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's been one character that has crossed into both universes. Do you know who it is?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Well, okay, in a sense, Spider-Man did, because Spider-Man went from. Excuse me, I'm talking about Fox and Marvel, not Sony.
Wasn't it Magneto's son?
Yeah,
Quicksilver?
yeah, Quicksilver.
Mm-hmm. But he was played by two different characters.
Yeah, but still, it was not a crossover, but he showed up in both universes.
Mm-hmm. Shit. Well, you were asking Cordero, but I'm sure he fucking knows.
Yeah, I know. Scarlet Witch. I don't know if Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, she's Quicksilver's sister.
I know that, but I don't know if she actually was in that episode of X-Men. I don't know if she showed up.
Yeah, with Quicksilver. Yeah, she was.
Well, I know she did in the Avengers, but I don't remember her in the X-Men movie.
Yeah, she was.
Ah,
she was in the room when the Quicksilver's doing the cool thing, running around all super fast.
Okay. Well, did they show off any of her powers or anything?
In Apocalypse, yeah. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Wait a minute though. Was Scarlet Witch played by the same person in Apocalypse?
I don't think so. I think
we would have caught that.
Yeah.
I think not directly stated though. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably what I was thinking about Cordero, was that she maybe she was in there passingly, but they weren't like, oh, that's fucking Wanda. You know what I mean?
Such a weird name.
Yeah.
I kind of like the Fox version of
Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Fox's version of Quicksilver better than the Avengers version. The Avengers version, I don't know. I don't even like Scarlet Witch in the Avengers. She's kind of annoying, and her accent is terrible. She's supposed to have like this Eastern European accent, but it just sounds like regular Valley Girl almost.
Is it her magic that messes
you
up?
That bullshit there. No, I can't even do it on this screen because it just looks choppy.
He's OP as fuck. Overpowered. I mean, yeah, in reality, if he can move that fast, then he shouldn't be affected by anything. You can't write a story around that.
Yeah, as a kid, I remember Quicksilver, because a lot of these movies that are coming out, there are a bunch of comic book characters that are getting movies that I don't ever remember hearing about until I'm an adult, right? But Quicksilver seems to be one of them that I remembered as a kid. Like he was, a popular character, but it doesn't seem like he's getting that same sort of love, now, because he was killed off in the Avengers, and I actually don't even remember what happened to him in the X-Men. Maybe
he's fine.
Yeah. So I don't know. It just seems like I don't know why he isn't as popular as I thought he was. What they did for the X-Men versus the Avengers version was they just changed his name from Pietro in the Avengers to Peter in the X-Men.
Which, why would Magneto name this kid Pedro?
Well, Magneto was from Europe too. I want to say Eastern Europe.
Yeah, it was in the Holocaust with his homeboy.
Yeah, and that was a good scene though. The scene from X-Men where he's beating up on Apocalypse.
Oh, never mind.
Not you. Would you do that?
No, I was thinking about when they're in the Holocaust or whatever, and he's like pulling the fence down or whatever.
Yeah,
That was cool.
that was a good scene
Slapped.
too. We were talking about Quicksilver there, Danny.
I know. Whatever.
You know what's funny is that every once in a while I'll look up and I'll try to see, has there been any sort of reference or crossover between those two worlds, and I never saw anything about Quicksilver until I was watching Age of Ultron, and I saw him in there. I was like, wasn't he? Like, nah, that was somebody else, right? And then my girlfriend she was like, no, he was in the X-Men too. Or, no, I take it back. She wasn't like, he was in the X-Men too. She was more like, wasn't he also in the X-Men? And I'm like, oh, mansplaining. He was like, nah, babe, because you have the Fox universe and the Marvel universe, and they don't ever cross over, so that wouldn't happen.
It's like, no, I don't know.
And then I looked it up and I was like, God damn it, he was. It was
So how'd you mansplain your way out of that?
Yeah. I was like, hey, you got me. That's what it was. You got me. And then I, read about it, and I guess they really didn't just, like fire sale the characters. They weren't like, you get them, you get them, you get them, you get them. They were like, hey,
whoever gets it first.
More on this side, and these people are more on this side. And then they got to characters like Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, and they were like, shit, I don't know where they go. They, pretty much got their world, with the Avengers, but they were Magneto's children, and some shit like that. And they just didn't have a place to put them, so they're like, we'll split them up, but they can't talk about each other, and so it's kind of weird.
They don't acknowledge their existence. You know what I want to know is how the hell we ended up with Hawkeye. Who smart ass idea was that?
They were just
They
like,
should be fired.
Yeah. What is this we? Are you on team fucking ABC or Disney?
I mean, yeah. I'm on team Netflix.
Yeah. Wiki Kinder brings a good point about Marvel being in dire straits, and that's why they sold off everything.
That's true. Yeah.
We were talking about Stan Lee. He's really trying to get it all back, and I'm sure he wants to. Yeah, they can't say the word mutants in the MCU. It's just so fucking stupid.
We're gifted.
One of the things that I think they should do is, you take two like obscure characters from each world and just like kind of like have them do a movie together. You could take two of the most obscure fucking characters you can think of and turn that into a big hit just because they are from the two different universes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I feel like you could make any Marvel movie right now and make millions. So.
Yeah, it's true. But let's see. Let's reference my poster here with a bunch of people I have no fucking idea who they are.
Just finding some. Why are you doing that, Cordero? Very important. Since you don't have power or you don't have cold air, AC. I think the first thing you should do with all this new free time, I don't know why I'm associating not having air as free time, is watch Rick and Morty. Did you start doing that yet?
Yeah.
This is very important.
Did you? Oh man, did that? Okay, we were talking about the pop-up store. Did that make it to Tampa yet? If not, Cordero, if you can go there and fucking grab me something, man, I'll shoot you some money. I just want to see what they have. Just fucking pick up some random shit. I've sent you shit on fucking Amazon before.
I got one cool Rick and Morty thing here. Hold on. Let me grab it. It's not super cool, I guess. So it looks like this. See that? You see that?
All right. Is that I'm trying to think. I don't recognize that. So
it's a cube from the thing. I forget what it is because there's so many jokes in the episode. I can't miss it. But it's actually a 300-piece puzzle.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I saw that at a comic book store I went to recently.
It's cool as shit, though.
So when does the Inhumans start? Is that on the 1st?
Yeah, Marvel's pushing that Inhumans hard. Wicked Kender, but we were talking about the last episode about how they're calling it the complete saga, as in like it's going to be one season, And people obviously were taking that headline as it's been canceled, but I'm reading as like, oh no, it's just a miniseries. It's not going to be an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
Which we know the luck that Marvel has on broadcast television. You know, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the only thing that survived, and I think the only reason it survived is because it's tied into the movies periodically. But like Agent Carter got canceled.
I heard Agent Carter was really good too. I saw a lot of good reviews for Agent Carter.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that they are considering bringing that to Netflix. So I don't think we've heard the last of Agent Carter.
Yeah.
The Inhumans, the television series, because it premiered in theaters, the television series starts tomorrow. So.
Wow. Okay.
So that's something I'll have to check out. Am I off screen right now?
Yeah, your camera's shut out, but you're still
man.
here.
I don't know where the fuck. I don't know where I put my. Where the fuck is my screen? Right there.
It probably doesn't like your bandwidth.
No. It you know, if I minimize.
Oh, you switch windows. Got it.
Yeah.
Cordero says show looks like shit. Could have made it. They could have made it so interesting. I feel like Cordero should be like the.
Cordero should have his own show on fucking comics. I like talking about him, but he fucking knows about them.
I know, but he should have like his own like consulting for TV. It's like I can tell you how to make this interesting.
Yeah, that's fucking. Did you? I think did Cordero? Did you read the comics from the Inhumans before we got on there? I don't know.
Cordero, if you want, you can call in.
Yeah.
On voice, even if you wanted to. He's probably hiding in the bathroom. He doesn't like it, so he's like, fuck this movie.
So I'll ask you, and because I think Fox sees something in these like darker versions of superhero movies, and they've also fucked up on the Fantastic Four movies.
Too many times.
Do you think there's a way for them to take a Fantastic Four movie and make it more gritty and real, given its sort of the characters, the sort of fantastic nature of the show?
It's the characters. They're just ridiculous, and I don't think you can make them cool because a stretchy person is not anything but jokes and hilarious. And Stretch Armstrong, you know.
Well, was he a funny person?
No, he was like the responsible, dad figure. They could take a character like the Human Torch and make him dark, like he has an inner turmoil, and that might be interesting. But they'd have to. I mean, they just got to give it up. They don't know what they're doing.
No, I think they need to give it another shot. I think there's a way you could.
A third shot?
Well, they're going to, whether you like it or not. They're going to give it another shot. I mean, that's what the oldest superhero crew that they had.
Well, don't they have to keep the rights or whatever? So they'll make shit movies all they want.
Yeah, but I think they could, in some way, shape, or form, they could do better with it. They could darken it up a bit. So, the Rotten Tomato rating for the Inhumans.
Oh boy.
The IMDb rating is 5.2 out of 10, and the Rotten Tomato rating is 6%.
Jeez.
6. And I will give it to Rotten Tomato. They seem to be pretty. Wow, actually, I clicked on it and it's 4%.
Yeah, I know. I just went to it.
Like, how do you fuck it up that bad? Do you think it's really that bad, or do you think that people are just they're expecting Marvel movies to be so much more nowadays?
No, I just think people, if anything, are burnt out, and there just isn't anything super entertaining about this. And this looks ridiculous. There's a lot of ridiculousness in this. Let's see here. Make it official, huh? Come on.
It's the characters, man. Like, they look like shitty. They look like a character you'd see on the Orville.
Yeah. Good evening, TP Poker. We are missing Cordero, but he is in the chat. But thanks for hanging. We're talking shit about Inhumans at the moment.
So Wick and Kinder, did you got to watch the Inhumans, or did you just watch the trailer? because I know they premiered it in IMAX. So
This was the teaser. Was literally the logo. Ridiculous. Yeah. Oh man. See, like this picture is way cooler. Oh, where did it go? For the Inhumans. Wow. Never mind the article. Oh, here it is at the very top. Like this picture right here.
that's true. Yeah,
Freaking
he was.
awesome.
Cordero made a good point that the guy who did Iron Fist also handled. Was it Fantastic Four or the Inhumans? I know he did one of them. I remember reading that too.
He did, like the director or something. What in the world?
The same guy that directed, or he calls it a showrunner, also did. The guy who did Iron Fist, who didn't
If
do.
I have to see
don't think
more
Iron
crap
Fist was
about the hand, I'm gonna lose my shit. Oh shit, Walter White's up in here. Yeah, there's a lot of cheese to this.
I mean, it is what it is. You can expect that from a comic book movie, but it's just I'm not sold. Like the Medusa character, I just don't look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, no, it looks like a fucking high school play.
Yeah,
Because you can do these really sort of like outlandish sci-fi type of shows and movies and things like that.
that looks
But,
ridiculous. This is
you know.
stupid. This is mega dumb. That part was bad. This is like low budget Ben Affleck. A giant dog? This is dumb. Oh no, they cut her hair.
I don't want to hear. Who are you going to complain about a giant dog? You watch something like Star Wars that has, those weird looking fucking things in it too.
You
So-
watch your tone.
That was sort of an epiphany that I had the other day. It's like people will shit on comic books. Like, oh, there's an alien and a giant dog, but meanwhile, fucking jerk off to Star Trek, Star Wars, whatever.
What it is, yeah. You don't even know what you're talking about. Was that supposed to be someone special? I don't know. I guess it would make more sense if I had audio. Well, this guy's fighting cops. Uh-oh. He's in trouble now. Yeah. I'm just... You know what? It's Netflix. It set a whole new level for this stuff, and...
They did. They really set the bar pretty high, so I dig that. So
Gao from the Defenders? Is that who you think is hot?
yeah.
Read the comics for a while and seen the trailers. I heard Cordero has a crush on Madame Gao. He likes him old and wrinkly and decrepit.
I think comic book talk is our go-to. What did you used to read comic books as a kid, and which ones, Danny?
Me, I did, but mostly Image Comics. So
Who are some of their people?
the only one you're gonna know is Spawn.
Okay.
And then they did another one for a little while called Union. That was pretty good. They were just a lot darker, and the art style was really
So
cool. And,
was-
like the pages were awesome.
Were Image Comics and they were underneath Marvel?
No, I think they were
Or did
like
Marvel
the
buy up
Green
and say,
Party.
"We'll take Spawn"?
The Marvel doesn't have Spawn.
Then who am I getting mixed up? Blade. I'm sorry, I'm getting Blade mixed up.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's also where I was getting mixed up because HBO was the one that had the Spawn cartoon that was really graphic.
Yes. Yes.
All right, cool. That was my my mistake on that one.
Wikipedia has a good explanation of why Image Comics came about. Came out in 1992 by several high-profile illustrators as a venue where comic creators could publish their materials without giving up the copyrights to the characters. So they created it as creator-owned properties. Spawn, Savage Dragon, Witchblade, that's another one some people know. The Darkness, and The Walking Dead. Actually, it was Image Comics. I forgot.
Wow, I didn't know the Walking Dead was part of it. I mean, hell, that's not a bad lineup if you've got like four 4 or 5 major comics, and 2 of them are, you know, super popular. So
Cal's canes vibrate.
yeah, I snickered at that one too. That made me funny. That made me laugh. Made me funny.
They were very graphic. That's like they just had way more freedom. You know, here's the cover. Some of the stuff they allowed.
Did you ever see the Marvel comic covers that were drawn by the guy who does The Walking Dead?
Robert Kirkman?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, look those up because those are actually pretty cool.
They were Marvel though.
Yeah, he did a series of Marvel comics where they were zombies. Yeah, I've got some pictures. I've got some pictures on my phone from when I went to fucking bookstore and just snapped a bunch of pictures. But
that's stealing, Shane. He's more of a better storyteller than he is a artist. It's like even The Walking Dead wasn't even colored, but it's pretty cool. Let's see what else he's got here.
Well, he had some other ones that were a little bit more artistic than that.
All right.
Oh no, that's pretty good. That's. I don't think that's bad art. I think it's pretty fucking good.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just like what he's known for is his storytelling, not necessarily his art style.
Mm.
Cool.
I used to have the Mortal Kombat comic from Malibu. I can't find anything else from Malibu Comics, anybody else that I've heard of. But
it's pretty good. Oh, look at that. There you go. Fantastic Four meets Captain the Avengers.
And
the
X-Men.
universe. Daredevil. This is the universe where it would happen. And this guy kind of looks like the Flash somehow, but I'm sure Cordero can tell me who it actually is.
Which one?
This guy down here. The bottom right.
Bottom right.
Let me see if I can zoom in on it. Over here.
The red or the yellow?
Yellow.
And that looks like the Flash.
Yeah, it just had little antennas.
Anymore?
I don't know.
Actually, I don't know who the fuck that is.
TP Poker got me, man. What's Madame Gao's favorite body part?
Well done.
The hand.
If Cordero, if you're still around, man, tell us who the guy is at the bottom right-hand side of the screen, the yellowish character, because I can't tell. Is it? It's not Loki, is it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Somebody's Googling it. They'll get back to us. Close that.
Why does his shield have to be all broken?
Maybe Ant-Man. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think that is Ant-Man, because I'm looking back here.
I forgot he had the...
Yes, antennae. Thanks, TZO. Welcome to the show, by the way. Just to let you know, normally my camera isn't this choppy. I have no idea what's going on. So
I told you, we're routing your internet through Puerto Rico.
Yeah, right. So welcome to the My Dumb Questions on Air show there, TZO, where Danny, myself, and usually Cordero, who is actually out right now due to an air conditioning issue, we come in here and we talk about the events for the past week. And we normally and always and earlier than usual this week tend to get into comic book talk.
I don't know how. It's just safe.
It's safe. It's fun. It's it is what it is. So
I can switch it up though. I have something that I watched that I am going to recommend. What's Danny Rand's favorite foreplay move? Hold on, let me think about this.
Listening.
Is it gathering his chi?
The fist. I just said, man. You hear me what I was talking about.
I'm sorry. It cuts out when I'm talking. The fist. It's fucking great. No, I was gonna tell you need to watch on Netflix Bill Burr's latest stand up.
When was that released?
2017.
I think I may have already watched it then.
Oh, okay. Well, was there a bit about the gorilla?
About Harambe?
No, a gorilla that was taught sign language.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
Oh man, you would know. It was fucking hilarious.
I mean, it's also been a while, and I don't remember
Oh well,
very well. So
we're big fans of F is for Family, so I was like, all right, well, let me see how his
this
comedic
weird
style
talk.
is.
You and Cordero are big fans of it. I watched it the one time and couldn't get into it.
Wish Cordero's here.
He's in the comments. I did get into a new TV show that I think is all right, and that is You're the Worst.
This Is Us. Oh.
Which one's This Is Us?
It's a chick drama flick.
No, it's called You're the Worst, and it's on FX. It's not bad. It's a little bit like, I guess. Have you ever watched Love on Netflix?
No.
It's not a bad show. It's a good show. The name makes it sound corny, but it's not. It's good. It's basically about an unlikely couple. New. Where do they come up with this? You know,
So
they're
original.
just a couple of people that really never wanted to get into a relationship, and they ended up falling for each other. And the girl has like really bad depression problems, but it's a comedy.
Ugh.
So
God, sounds like a nightmare.
yeah, no, it's good. It's actually pretty funny.
The chick was in Community, and I didn't like her character in Community, so I'm like, and obviously it's not going to be the same character, but still.
Oh, you just pulled it up to see who was in it?
No, I've seen the cover of it before in the
Okay.
trailer.
You know what? She's one of my least favorite characters in this show too. So
There you go.
there you have it. There. Her boyfriend in there, he's funny. He's like a young, skinny Ricky Gervais. He's got the same accent and everything. So he's pretty funny. And then there's his best friend that lives with him is also pretty funny in his own way. But again, it's one of those shows that when you literally have nothing else to watch and you're looking for something, that's the one you can pull from. Just like The Good Place. What is the good news is that a lot of the shows that I would watch regularly are now about to come back on air. So like Brooklyn Nine-Nine is about to come back on.
Yeah.
Last Man on Earth, which is a show that I am surprised that I love the way that I do, is about to come back on.
It's weird because it'll start to die down and you're like, oh, this is getting a little cheesy, and then they'll do something new and you're like, all right, I'll watch it some more.
Yeah, it's the main guy. He was sort of a forgettable Saturday Night Live cast member. And he did they were so bad that they're funny sort of skits, like MacGruber. And guess when his show came out, I didn't really think that it was going to be that good. And I watched and I was like, this isn't bad at all, man. It's funny. Let's see what this thing. How did Danny Rand
keep his iPod charged for 14 years in Kunlun? I think that's just a genuine question. Because this is dumb questions.
You know what? I don't think they were. I don't think that they were without power, were they?
They were in another dimension. I don't think freaking FPL goes out there and services them electricity, or Seco, or whoever.
Man, what is it? You can't you plug up something to a fucking potato now and get energy from it?
Yeah. That's probably what you're trying to do with the computer.
And they've got all sorts of chi and shit. They can do whatever they want. Don't think about it. That's your answer. Don't think about it too hard.
And honestly, like if they said, "Hey, we're going to continue with the Defender series and all the Netflix shows, but since the hand is gone, we don't see a use for Iron Fist, so we're getting rid of him," I'd be like, "Cool, no problem."
It was weird to me how much of a focal point they made him for the Defenders movie. I guess it led up to that.
They basically made all the freaking shows about him.
Yeah, and so that's weird, but it is what it is. I think he's a good background character. Not background, but like, fourth tier character. He doesn't have as much depth as someone like Jessica Jones or the other three, basically. So,
well, they all had like unique worlds. I mean, or boroughs, let's say. Like, it was cool to see like the noir investigator side of Jessica Jones, and like Luke Cage is like, you know, friendly neighborhood hangout, you know, bars and the barbershop and all that stuff. So there's just nothing for Iron Fist besides like dated references and old fucking music. I've seen better 70s kung fu movies, yeah.
I think that I think there's potential. They can continue to build him and make him like a decent character, but he's not going to reach the level of, you know, Daredevil and shit. It's just not going to happen. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the way you save him is by throwing him in with the Punisher and toughening his bitch ass up a little bit. You know what I mean?
That'd be hilarious.
Speaking of which, have they given a release date on that yet?
No.
What the fuck is it? It's supposed to be 2017. They're running out of months.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be in October because they got Stranger Things coming out.
True.
Okay, sorry. My daughter told me to stop laughing. They need to call Jackie Chan for help. Yeah, Jackie Chan in his like 60s or whatever the hell he is now freaking knows how to dance and fight better than whatever bird body Iron Fist does. You can make fun of his bird body, right? That's okay.
I think he's kind of ripped, bro.
You would.
He's got May Chin. What's her name?
Oh, his girl?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I don't know either.
I think
It feels like it's been a century since I've watched those. I would watch Daredevil again though.
Yeah.
Stop and watch it again. So I've been going back and watching all these other Marvel movies recently.
I think
just
Miyagi
because,
could kick Daddy's ass.
you know, he can kick anybody's ass, to be fair.
Why are you watching his old Marvel movies again?
Just to kind of put it all together. Like I never got to watch the Thor movie, the second Thor movie, until last night.
Really?
Yeah. I guess, like you said, man, they were putting out so many of them that was easy to miss.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, obviously you're supposed to watch these all in order, but since I watched them out of order, it's kind of cool to see the references to, for instance, Doctor Strange in that Thor movie.
I didn't even know they made a reference.
Really? No, the villain from the Doctor Strange movie is in the Thor movie. She's taking care of his girlfriend.
Oh, well, whatever.
And then I liked when Loki was walking through the halls and he was like switching forms and he switches into Captain America.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe I'll be one of your new friends. I thought that was kind of funny.
Loki is the best part of the Thor movies.
Loki's pretty good. Actually, man, Chris Hemsworth does a good job playing Thor. He's funny.
Not when he's like the god Thor, but when he's like the fish out of water, like, oh, you know, everything on you humans do is funny and weird. That part was actually funny to me.
But I enjoyed it. Even it wasn't the best of those Marvel movies, but I thought it was okay. They're fun. For me, it's a good way to just kind of be taken out of whatever world you are literally in, and just enjoy something. So
right.
And fair. It was at the very end of that, there was the reference to the Guardians of the Galaxy. The Collector was at the very end of the movie and stuff like that. Which the one I wasn't a really big fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. I haven't watched the second one. It's not on Plex. Can we do something about that?
It is. You should look closer.
It is? Oh shit! I have to check that out. But in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, in the background, when they are in the Collector's whatever, his realm or what the fuck, Howard the Duck is in there.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Which Howard the Duck fucking creeped me out as a kid. There was the one monster who had the really long tongue that was like, entering some lady or some shit. And on my poster over here,
Mm-hmm.
there's a dog that's in like an astronaut outfit,
Yeah.
and there's tons of shit on this poster that I'm like, I don't know who the fuck these people are. And I looked up the dog, and the dog was in the Guardians of the Galaxy. He was in the same thing. He was in the Collectors. He had like a little cameo in there, and even the Living Planet, which is like with Cordero. You know what? Fuck it.
Uh-oh. It's getting real serious. He's pissed.
That's my living room. Hang on.
I think he took his headphones on so he can't even hear us. Let's see here. This is how what's that movie called? Cloverfield started.
I guess I'm gonna unplug this.
What'd you unplug?
My headphones.
Oh, I was saying that this is how Cloverfield started.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting drunk. Let's see. So I'm going to show you the poster, and I need to kind of... Ah, shit, I'm going to fuck that up.
You should have just told me to look the poster up online.
Yeah, but you know what? This is fun. This is more fun.
Okay.
At least I thought it would be, but my camera, I don't have much of a reach.
I feel like something's going to break. Yeah, you can't see that. I can kind of see the dog.
Well, I can't. I'm trying to get it, like...
Let's see here.
This is not going the way I thought it would.
No. I'll just look up the poster.
No! Screw them up. We're leaving this. I just got to find a way to pop this off.
Oh God, I got the poster, man. I got it.
There we go. All right, it's about to go down, Danny.
Oh boy,
It's about to go down, Danny Rand.
I ain't no Danny Rand.
No, you're a pussy compared to him.
This is a lot, man. It's messed up.
Yeah. All right, hang on there, Danny Rand.
Okay. And once you're done doing that, I'll just put up the poster. Well, this is an entertaining view of his chair. He probably froze. He like disconnected something probably.
It's gonna work. All right, we're gonna put you. God, I've got so much shit over here. What's on my screen?
Oh my God, he's losing it, guys. All this because he doesn't want me to put up the poster and just show you it.
Let's see. Nope, all the cords are too fucking. There we go. All right.
He's gonna be like, "Fuck it, just show it. Watch."
Ha! You a big pile of dog shit.
Yeah. Now we just have a bunch of pixelated fucking
There's
poster.
a dog.
God.
That dog is Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm.
That's the Super Soldier. That's a chick Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a dickhead. Where's he at? Yeah, and look at that dickhead. Fucking hate him.
Oh yeah.
God, he sucks. Guardians. There's Loki.
Where? Oh
that?
yeah.
Oh,
That's
I
it.
don't know who the fuck that guy is. He looks stupid. That's the Living Planet.
Who is that? The Living Planet. What is that from?
The Living Planet or some shit. Cordero talked about him. This dude is called Devil Dinosaur.
That's awesome.
Yep. This guy looks like fucking Zelda.
Oh boy.
Let's see, and I don't know who the fuck this is.
It's Captain Miss America. I don't know.
Nope, terrible. This is the best. The best.
Yeah, that's your homeboy.
It's your own boy.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this dumb lady. That's your girl Medusa from Man.
Oh. They didn't shave her head yet?
Look at Beth over here.
She somehow got into the Marvel Universe.
Mr. Poopy Butthole.
I'm sure everybody's enjoying this pixelated poster over here.
Well, it's not my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know what? It wasn't, it's not bad. All right. I'll put this back.
It's right there.
Yeah, I heard you, bitch.
I just said, it's right here. We should have just waited. I could have showed everybody.
You know, it's more fun this way.
Uh-huh. See, I can zoom in. Kingpin. There's Mr. Punisher. That chick looks topless. She may be. I don't know.
She is.
She is.
I don't know who it is. That's why we need
Captain
Cordero
Topless.
to be able to point them all out.
There's Samuel L. Jackson. There's the dumb giant dog. There's Mrs. Captain America.
Yeah, I don't know who the fuck that is. She's just like a tough lesbian.
Aren't they all? I don't know who
Her name's
this is.
Margaret. They call her Marge.
Dr. Strangey Poo. Dr. Benedict Cumberbatch. I want to see this giant red dinosaur. That's what I want to see.
What?
I want to see this giant red dinosaur make it into a movie. That's what I want to see. Dragon Slayer.
I guess the Devil Dinosaur, they have turned it more into a kid's comic recently.
Boo. Is this what you found? Wicked Kender? Coda Movie Special Comic. Oh, Dragon Slayer. Look at that.
Who was Conan comic books produced by?
I would guess Wicked Kender. No, I almost called him Conan Kender. Conan Kender.
You know, for a while, Marvel had rights to Godzilla, and Godzilla was a Marvel character.
I'm gonna assume this is. Wait, who was?
Godzilla.
Oh, okay, got it. Anyway. Oh well. I'd have to go look at it. You don't have to go look at it. It's fine. Oh well. What do you got, Shane?
I don't have much. You want to wrap it up early tonight? Say fuck it.
Yeah, we're missing our trio, and it's
not only that. Like I can't fucking stand the camera. It's driving me nuts.
Aw, sad time. Well, I guess with that said, I mean, I still appreciate everybody coming, hanging out still, and listening to us to ramble and eventually lead to comic books somehow again, as it usually does, right?
Yes, it usually does. I appreciate it. I wish, you know, sorry for the look of it. The camera not, or the connection just not doing its thing tonight. Very annoying. If you have any, Danny, if you specifically know why this is, please let me fucking know. And I can try to tackle it because this is not what's up.
Wicked Kender got you that answer. It was 1982 Marvel.
I wonder if they'll ever try to bring him back.
It was.
I guess you don't need to, because you've already got Thor. Why do you need a Conan?
And I think, if anything, it was probably licensed to Marvel.
True.
I don't think they were creators of it. So.
True.
All right, man. Wrap it up. Tell them where to find us.
You can find us on all the places. You can find us on iTunes, Overcast. You can find us on Facebook, Twitch. all at My Dumb Questions. We have a wonderful new logo and look, and everything is being directly routed to at My Dumb Questions on all the sources, including mdqonair.com. So what do we have? It popped off the screen.
TV Pokers ends it with the perfect line, which is in the outtakes of Daredevil. Madame Gal lifts up her burlap skirt and shows her Chia Pet Beaver.
That's why we love all the people that join us.
Yeah,
Thanks
and
for that.
That kind of sums up our show. We will see you again next Thursday. Unless something comes up between now and then. And hopefully Cordero will have his air fixed and we'll all be happy.
And we'll have a fucking camera that doesn't suck complete fucking horse dick.
With that said, I'll see you guys Thursday.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for bearing with us.
You can watch our starting soon. It makes you think that we're going to start soon, but we're actually going away.